Made me lose my hair, so I started putting oil in my shit. It just makes it oily. I didn't go. I didn't get any hair back. I'm just greasy now.
Just adding it all in there.
Yeah, so now I'm just bald and oily. So that's good. We got that going for me.
Hey, as long as you got something going for you, right? Something good had to come out of it. Add it to the repertoire.
Tell me your full name, Ron.
Ross Kosterka.
Oh, I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Ron's his dad's name.
Yeah, Ron's my dad's name, so
I'm psychic.
we'll stick away from that one. Yeah, right.
What are you mad at your dad? What are you mad at your dad for, Ross?
No, just that's the name. That's all.
I feel like most of our world's problems is people being mad at their father.
It could be. It very much.
You know what
I
mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I feel
I'm not
like
mad at him. It's just one of those things where it's like, come the fuck on, Dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it is.
All right, okay.
Yeah, you know.
I feel like that could go real bad. So let's talk about you in wrestling.
Talk about whatever you want to talk about, man.
Well, I don't know. That's all I'm saying is.
Well, it's like, do you want me in character or do you want me?
What's your character?
So
It's not much different.
the name, yeah, right. It's
he's angry at his dad. Fuck Ron.
Character name's Johnny Delicious.
Johnny Delicious.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah,
go on.
So it's basically a heightened version of me. Like, take me, put it up to 10. Ladies' man, like to make people angry at me. Well, you know.
Yo,
so I got her. Like it's all part of it. It all comes together eventually.
It comes together.
Right.
All right. I'm not mad.
Yeah.
Johnny Delicious.
Like to have way more fun than I probably should have.
Okay.
You know, and I like bringing people along with me. And if I don't like you, you're gonna know I don't like you, type of person.
All right. So it's kind of crazy. That kind of seems like what people should act like in real life,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
What do you think? Why do you think people have such a hard time, like, just telling the truth?
Just telling the truth.
Well, because that's what it is. Like, if I don't like you, I don't fuck with you. If I do like you,
like people just worry about hurting feelings. Like, nobody wants their feelings hurt. I don't understand it. It's like, if it's true and it's gonna hurt your feelings, then learn from it.
Yeah, man.
And I'm straight up just gonna tell you the truth.
All right, so like, you put together wrestling events as well, or are you a part of wrestling? Are you a part of the whole deal?
It's a little bit A, a little bit of B. So
break it down for me.
Right now, I work for a company called XICW, Extreme Intense Championship Wrestling. It's the longest running promotion in the state of Michigan.
Okay.
They've been running since 2000. I didn't start until 2006.
Okay, so that's 17 years.
Yeah, so
18 years.
We're getting there. I'm getting there. I help that company do promotion.
Okay.
I help them do social media. I help them book shows. I'm actually the MC of the show.
Oh, that's awesome,
I'm
bro.
out there. I started off as a manager. So I'd go out there and I was the guy that got you to hate eating. Like,
Ross, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a wrestling manager, man.
It's great. It's a great thing.
Man. It just seems like if I could, like, and this ain't even a knock on nobody, don't take it. If I could just make a living being a used car salesman and or like doing used car commercials and wrestling, I would love that.
That's exactly what it is. That's my life. Like,
let me ask you something. What did you want to be when you grew up? Like when you was little?
Pro wrestling manager.
No shit.
Yeah. I've always, ever since I was a kid, like I didn't want to be a cop. I didn't want to be a fireman. I didn't want to be a doctor. So it actually all started with, you ever seen Arliss on HBO way back in the day?
Tell me about it.
Dude was he was a sports agent, like real shady sports agent.
Who started that? That seems really familiar to me.
I know his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. I got hit
like Gary Shanlin type shit, or
a little. He was a stand-up comedian at the time.
Okay.
But yeah, I watched that show and I was like, all right, cool. I want to be this guy. Like, so outlandish, so over the top. But he was a sports agent. And he always represented like high-end sports athletes and stuff like that. I was like, that's really cool.
So you weren't inspired. You weren't inspired by wrestling. You were actually inspired by something else, and you wanted to work it back into wrestling.
Yeah, I grew up on pro wrestling.
Okay.
Like I grew up. I was always.
What era were you?
Guys. Oh, like Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant.
Okay.
I was born in '82.
All right, I'm 77. So
yeah, 40. So we're right around the same time.
Yeah.
Like that time of like honestly the golden age of pro wrestling. Like that was it.
That was the shit,
Right.
bro. That was the shit.
And I had so many people to look into, but I was always I always like bad guys. I never liked good guys. I wasn't a Hulk Hogan fan. I was an Andre the Giant fan. Bobby the Brain Heenan. Guys like that.
He was so good, man.
100%. Heroes.
The slight built fella with the hair. It was I think he had a cane and he wore
Mr.
glasses.
Fuji?
No. He was a white dude, like southern cat from down south. You remember the? Yeah,
Jimmy
Hart,
with the megaphone.
Man.
With the megaphone.
Yeah, man. I fucking love that dude, man.
Yeah.
He talk man. He just talk a gang of shit, dog.
Right. And he was like, guys like him, like you just yell and people just hated you. As soon as you walked out, people hated you.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about that, but like guys could come out and they'd clap and get all the people behind them. And I'm like, that's not me. That's not me at all. Like, but people come out and they boo you and they want to see something happen to you. Like, that's really where it was at for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what I want. And
that's
then,
the heel.
Yeah. Just the heel aspect of it. I loved being the bad guy. I loved that type of attention.
Yeah.
Super weird. And
Did you get in trouble in school?
I mean, I was that kid, like, I was good in school.
Yeah.
But once I was done with my work, and I wanted to just have fun. Like I said,
okay,
all about having fun.
All right.
And that's how I lived my life. And I was like, all right, we're going to do something. So, I mean, yeah, I might have been sent down to the principal's office a few times.
Right.
I get loud in class and stuff like that, on the playground, all that stuff. But it was just, I mean, that was just me naturally. I'm an only child.
Yeah.
So center of attention all the time. And I enjoy it. She's shaking her head at him. Like, she knows.
There's certain things that
she wasn't even there back then, and she knows. She's like, yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah, this motherfucker's a fucking only child, fucking never.
Yeah.
You go to the kitchen and just come back with one drink, don't you? You don't think of nobody but yourself, ass motherfucker,
drink,
man.
It's enough for 2 or 3 people.
She over there just thirsty, just.
Yeah.
I'll get my own drink, right?
I might forget once in a while, but
Oh, buddy, yeah.
But yeah, so it went wrestling because I grew up on that as a kid.
Yeah.
And then grew up watching late night HBO.
Right.
Watched Arliss, and I was like, this is awesome. And then life advanced. I got out of wrestling for a little while, and then came back and was like, all right, this is getting more fun. So I started watching it again. Started seeing more options like WCW and all that.
Was that like when the Hollywood Hogan type shit, or
all right,
was that
I can tell you the exact moment. I watched it on TV. All right, so I'm watching Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
And Mark Henry.
I don't know who none of these.
Mark Henry, world's strongest man, big Jack Black dude.
All right.
Literally world's strongest man.
Okay.
Gets into a storyline with Mae Young, who's a 95-year-old woman that used to wrestle back in the day.
Word.
They have a baby.
Like a real life baby?
No.
I was about to say.
It's a hand.
All right, bet.
She gave birth to a hand.
She gave birth to a hand?
Yep. That was the storyline. And they showed that shit on TV. Can I swear? I'm sorry if I was... well, yeah.
Man, you go ham.
All right.
You just go crazy.
They showed that shit on TV, and I'm like, what in the fuck is going on?
So this real strong black fella.
Yeah.
And he bangs this old 95-year-old lady. And then they have a hand?
9 months later, they have a hand.
That's amazing.
It was the most ridiculous damn thing I've ever seen.
I like that a lot.
And I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore. So I stopped watching it.
Wait, that made you not want to watch it?
I know. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was.
You're like, this is the
That
buck.
was it. That was it. I'm done.
The buck stops here?
I'm done for a minute.
What were you more upset about? Him fucking putting loads into an old-ass lady?
No, it was the hand. It was a hand. Like,
okay.
If they would have had a kid, I would have been cool with it. It was a hand.
See, like, when I see an old woman, I feel like their insides will tear apart when you fuck them. So that bums me out. But the hand bummed you out.
Yeah, it was the hand. It wasn't the 400+ pound black man that's the world's strongest man.
Right.
And this 95-year-old fragile little lady.
See, that bums me out. Just saying it.
It's the hand. It's, but they showed it on TV.
All right.
Yeah, no. And then oddly enough, there was like some things afterwards. Like there was some, necrophilia and stuff afterwards. I just got out of it. I got out of it.
You were like, fuck this shit.
Yep.
What did you get into? What did you start watching? You're like, man, this is too much, man. I'm done with this shit, man, over here. I'm going to watch American Gladiator.
I love me American Gladiators. But no, right. we go and I'm like out of it for a little while. And then I don't know. I don't even know what brought me back in, but like I started going to concerts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was a little older.
Yeah.
I was able to travel on my own, have my own car and doing all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I was juggalo lifestyle, going to see ICP shows all over the place. They start doing their wrestling shows. I started getting into independent wrestling.
Okay.
And then I think that's really where my love came back for it. I started doing all that stuff, and now I'm...
Let me talk to your girl real quick. Because,
talk to her.
What's your name again?
I'm Jenna.
All right, Jenna. My homeboy is dating a chick that really loves wrestling.
Yeah.
I imagine you... Here, get on that mic. Talk into the mic. What is it about wrestling that makes a lady like wrestling, or can you speak for yourself?
Yeah.
What makes you like wrestling?
I was born and raised on Attitude Era with my dad and my brother.
What's Attitude Era? You're like you got to talk to me like I'm a retarded 4-year-old with some of this stuff.
So that's like the NWO.
Okay.
Stone Cold, The Rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that like TNT or what was that on? Like
we had a little bit of TNT.
Because we're North, right? So we didn't get like I grew up. We didn't get a lot of the Southern wrestling. I had to go back and like watch it on YouTube.
Yeah,
like,
all WWF. This is all WWF. That stuff. Yeah.
And what was it down south? Like WCW?
Yeah, WCW down there.
So you grew up on the NWO with your old man or with your
with
pop?
my dad and my brother, and that was like our family nights. So like that grouped me into it.
Okay.
Got a little older, wanted to be like, I want to be a girl. I want to be a teenager.
Yeah.
Fell back in love with it in about 2015. Started watching it. Started dating this scrub, and he started watching it.
What do you mean a scrub?
Oh, he was a piece of shit.
You just was dating a shitty dude. I thought that was a wrestling term for like a guy that gets beat up.
No, he deserves to get beat up. But so he started getting me back into watching it. And then I was like, I don't know why I ever stopped watching this. Like storylines, like watching people go from one person in their personal life and change to a completely different person. That creativity behind it is what just like grasps me into it.
That's how we met too.
See, thank God she likes her dad. You know what I mean? She likes her.
I don't like my dad.
No one likes our fucking dad, man. We're doing the best we can.
I appreciate him getting me into that kind of thing because it got me to where I'm at right now in my life.
I don't want to sidebar this shit. I want to go back, but like, what the fuck is a scrub in your eyes? What is a scrub? Because I see girls deal with a lot of bullshit. So, like, what is a scrub?
He was abusive.
Well, you should do what you're told.
What? I have a mouth
That's
on
why
me.
I'm saying right here. I ain't saying nothing on that one, man.
There wouldn't be so much abuse if y'all would do what you're told. Like, Jesus Christ. I go on. No, he was
I have
abusive.
a mouth on me, so he didn't like that.
Yeah.
He kind of just like dulled me down a little bit.
It's rough when you're the brains of the operation and the woman.
100%.
Like, it's tough for the lady to be the brains, man.
There's also
Real
something
talk.
about a dude that leaves the house.
Yeah.
Thank
you, dear.
That leaves the house in a stained white T-shirt and basketball shorts to take his girl out.
I mean,
I'll leave the house like that, but to take her out on a date,
it's
like,
the ball shorts. It's like the basketball shorts is like the official I gave up on life shorts.
Right, you gave up on life. So that's actually how we met.
Yeah.
And so he brought her to one of my shows.
Damn,
we used to run. Yeah.
You're not loyal. She's not loyal. She ain't shit. Watch her, man. Watch her.
We used to run, XICW used to run at the Ritz, Hot Rock, Rhinestone Cowboy, whatever it is in Warren. Everybody knows that joint.
Okay.
So we used to run in there. I'm out there, and I'm a heel manager. I'm like one of the bad guys there.
So the heel is the bad guy.
Yeah, heel's the bad guy.
Okay.
So, but at the time, the main event wasn't ready. You know, they got to get ready. They got to get dressed, do all this stuff,
right.
you know, and it's the Rhinestone Cowboy. It's a bar, so they got to do their things and, you know, their extracurriculars after, you know, before their match. So they hand me a microphone and they say, hey, go kill time. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? I got nothing. I wasn't supposed to be part of this part of the show.
Mr. Take Your Bitch about to come up.
So I go out there and that's... You already know. So you must have heard this story, all right? Yeah. So they hand me this microphone and they're like, hey, I need you to go out there and I need you to go kill time. So I just start talking on the mic. I just start getting the crowd riled up, kind of starting to hate me.
Yeah.
I see her sitting in the front row with her man next to her. But she's got a Star Wars t-shirt on. I'm a big Star Wars nerd. She had leggings on. She's got red hair. Like 3 of my vices. Like huge. I'm like, okay, this is it. All right, so I start talking to her.
Yeah.
And I just turn around and I'm like, hey, you got a number?
Red hair and Star Wars?
Red hair, Star Wars.
That means a
ass.
strong child. That means
dude.
like a good ass child, like good breeding.
Yeah, and we got one on the way too. So
that's fucking awesome, man. I love kids, man. That's awesome. Go on.
So I'm like, hey, you got a number? And she's like, yeah, but not for you.
Hey.
So I'm standing up there in the ring.
All right, go ahead, girl.
I'm up in the ring, and I got a 3-piece suit on, looking good, feeling good. And she's sitting next to this dude. I'm like, come on. That's not your boyfriend. I know it's not your boyfriend.
How is this fella dressed, by the way? Just out of
White stained t-shirt,
no,
shorts.
that's how you saw this.
That's exactly how he is. In public. Like, that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? If you go to the gym, that's fine.
You're right. Hey, man. You're right, man.
So I'm like, all right, man. Like, come on now.
Maybe you got to get a gallon of milk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But not this shit.
But, you know, and it just happened, and few weeks later, she slid into my DMs, and
that's cool, bro.
Here we are.
That's awesome.
They started coming to shows every once in a while. Like, it didn't really happen like right away.
Yeah, it's like gradual.
Yeah, gradual. Man. So But every time she'd come to a show with him, I'd have my boys go out there.
Right.
I'd be like, hey, you see her over there? Go mess with her.
Let's
Go
do a
mess
thought
with her.
experiment.
Let's see what happens.
Can you imagine, like, just fucking being the guy in the basketball shorts?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine that? Like, you don't even realize that you're killing yourself. Like, it's just your own demise.
Didn't
like
say anything either.
Like, everything
he just
you do.
sat there.
Yeah, just running, like, just
Like,
fucking
could you imagine
slowly
just like
poisoning.
just being there and somebody hitting? Like, if anybody came up to her, like, all right, we have a different dynamic. I'm like, all right, cool, go get free drinks. Make sure you look at the drink. Make sure you see the drink made and all that.
Yeah.
But like the second somebody starts subbing to her, I'm like, all right, now we're gonna have a problem, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a big badass, but like, I'm gonna fight for her, right?
No,
this guy didn't.
that's your girl, bro.
Yeah, he doesn't.
That's
I'm
your-
like, all right, it's on.
Yeah,
She
man.
slid in my DMs. Here we are, 9 years later, and
That's
she
awesome,
She
bro.
got a baby coming. And
Congrats,
we
man.
Married
That's
now and all that stuff.
what a
so-
blessing, man. That's
All
fucking
because
awesome.
of pro wrestling.
Let's go back to wrestling.
Yeah,
Like-
I know we veered off a little.
No.
on that, but-
Like I'm fucking. I want to know about everything.
Yeah.
Tell me about let's give me like a behind the scenes on the wrestling circuit. Like what if let's say I want to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
What can I expect to? Will I be able to support myself, or will I have to get a second job? What do people do? Well, like, and if they do have a second job, what are their jobs?
All right, when you first start off, I'm gonna straight up and probably
Yeah,
tell
let's
you no,
let's yeah
right?
yeah.
So you got to get trained. You got to go to a reputable trainer.
All right.
In Michigan, most reputable trainer is going to be Truth Martini.
What does that cost? What's it going to cost me to get into it?
10 weeks of your life.
Okay.
Monday through Thursday.
All right,
For about $2,000.
that's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad, but you got to every day for about 4 or 5 hours a day. Plus, I mean, there's always training afterwards too.
What do you have to learn how to do? Like how to
You gotta learn
fall?
how to take
or-
a bump. Yep,
Okay.
it's called taking a bump. Right,
Okay.
you gotta learn how to take a bump properly. You gotta learn the movements.
Okay.
Pro wrestling's like a dance.
Get
right?
closer on that mic.
Yeah,
I just
sorry,
wanna,
man.
like everything you're saying, I just want to make sure
You're good. You're good.
We
So,
got it. You know,
pro wrestling's like a dance.
Okay.
Right. Everybody says pro wrestling's fake. It's not.
no, man, it looks
Look
like
at the
it's-
tolls that it takes on people's bodies. Right. You got guys like Jake the Snake Roberts, all those guys.
Yeah, man.
Scott Hall, people
Yeah.
that lose their lives to this business, right? You got to learn how to do everything properly.
Yeah, man.
Right. So
What's
when it's called fake, it's like no, because we're still putting our bodies through every single thing that we do.
Yeah.
You know, falling 10 to 15 feet through a table, you know, or even just onto a ring. Ring is all steel and wood. Like
Yeah.
there's about this much padding. It's about an inch thick. You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit there.
Yeah.
But it's all steel and wood.
Yes.
So you got to learn how to take those bumps. You got to learn how to what's called call match, right?
What's that mean?
That means put it together, right? Make it make sense.
Okay.
Why are we fighting? How is the crowd going to be behind me as a bad guy? How's the crowd going to be behind you as a good guy?
So let me pause you there. So like
Mm-hmm.
for a match, it's not really all the way choreographed.
No.
You kind of have to. You just know who wins and
You know
who
who
loses.
wins and who loses.
and you got to get there.
you got to get there.
And you got like 10. Like okay,
Yeah.
man, you got 10 minutes.
Yep.
Get there in 10
Yep,
minutes.
Yep.
Okay.
Picture like a UFC fight, right? Like, but you know who's going to win. And
right.
you know who's going to lose.
Okay.
That's really all that we know.
Yeah.
We got to get there.
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
go out there and we literally put our lives through hell for anywhere from 3 minutes to 15 to 30 minutes, whatever they want to do, whatever that promoter at
Right.
the time wants. We go through, we do that, and they literally beat the hell out of themselves.
So-
That's why I'm a manager.
So
I don't want to do all that.
Yeah. Did you ever wrestle, or did you
I've
wrestle?
had matches.
Okay, bet.
No, I've had matches. I've had a couple. I've done barbed wire brutality matches, like hardcore death matches.
So where you got all cut up and,
Yep.
and
Yep.
bloody and shit
Yep.
like that?
I wrestled the actual promoter, XICW, DBA.
No shit.
He trusted me enough to be in there with him. Yeah. We did everything was covered in barbed wire. The ropes were barbed wire. The ring was barbed wire. Chairs, everything.
So you
covered in
were
barbed
out.
wire.
You got cut.
Yeah.
And you were bloody.
Yeah. I got scars
Hey.
living from this day from it. My back, my
Damn,
hand.
son.
Yeah.
How much y'all get paid?
That's what we're getting to now.
Yeah, like give me just an idea, like because that's what people are yelling.
Everybody's
at.
different.
Yeah,
Everybody's
just,
different. Depends.
Hey, I'm Joe Schmo. I win every now and again. What I expect to. What
So
I
depends.
expect
All
to.
right. So this is all going to depend
And,
on
and
where
I'm
you're
bad at
right?
negotiations. So what
You're
would
going
I
to get paid
expect?
probably $25.
25
$25
bucks. Yikes.
But think about this, right?
All right.
But here's what I do. I tell everybody this, right? $25 is actually a lot if you think about it. How much you make an hourly at your job? Probably like $15 an hour on your part-time job, selling, phones or whatever you do, right?
Go on.
Right? You make $25 for 6 minutes out in the ring.
You should pimp hoes, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, go out there. I get to go out there for 6 minutes.
I know, but like I gotta drive there. I gotta drive there. I gotta get fucking beat up. I gotta spend $2,000 to make $25.
Right? That's where merch comes in. So now you got to be good enough to be able to sell things, right?
Okay.
So you got to show your value to that promotion. The more value you show to a promotion, the more money you can get paid.
Okay.
Right? Top guys get paid a little bit more. You know, I've seen guys get paid anywhere from nothing to thousands of dollars.
Huh.
You know, it just really depends on who you are. Former guys that are on TV, they get paid way more, obviously, because they're a big draw.
So, like, and then I'm guessing you come up with your own. Everyone comes up with their own storyline.
Yeah. Sometimes some promoters, like there's story writers, and they want certain things to happen at their shows.
Okay.
And that's where independents get a little fucked up because,
hey, Gushmints brought you this awesome episode where Jude told somebody to come in their girlfriend once again.
This promoter A, doesn't listen to promoter B, but promoter C wants to do what promoter B is doing, and none of those stories come together.
Yeah.
Right? But in that promotion, everything's making sense.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bum myself out.
No.
But like I feel like the world is real fucking lame right now. Is that bleeding into wrestling?
100%.
Oh, yeah, that sucks, man.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's what happened with pro wrestling, especially after COVID. We talked about COVID a little bit, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, after COVID, social media kills pro wrestling right now because everybody doesn't decipher the difference between their character and then their real life.
So they don't people have become retarded. They don't.
If that's what you want to say,
I'm going to call it retarded.
If that's what you want to say.
Yeah, no. I think I don't know. I don't have a job, so they're fucking.
You're good.
They're retarded faggots.
Bam.
Well, go ahead. Go on. See, I could be in wrestling.
Like, we let it bleed too much, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it. We all are at some point, right?
Okay.
But that's for letting people in. We let too many people in my opinion, and we let certain people say certain things without holding them accountable.
What does that mean?
Keyboard warriors, right? Like somebody can come up and be like, "Oh yeah, fuck you," blah 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 on whatever, and you're a piece of trash. But like, if I seen you in person and you said that to me, you wouldn't. You'd expect me to swing on you. But online, everybody can do that.
The energy is a bit different in person.
100%. But then add their character into it, where you should be promoting a wrestling show, but now you're promoting your life as a pro wrestler, and how much you hate other pro wrestlers.
So,
you know
man, it's so crazy. When you're explaining that to me, I was thinking like fans just being fucking all like in their feelings and butthurt, but it was more the wrestlers themselves turn bitch.
Yeah. Right now, that's what I would say. Like in that aspect, like fans. Don't get me wrong. Some fans get a little too much into it, but there are some great fans. Like. There's some great fans out there that like support us, go to every single shows, the Red Marks, the Donald Hollands, all those type of people.
Tell me about what is the fan base like? Like who's the average? Like, is there an average fan?
Do you remember Gibraltar Trade Center?
I go to Dixieland flea markets to this fucking day.
All right. Yeah. But you remember Gibralter Trade Center,
right?
Yeah,
it's the same.
Gibraltar Trade Center and Dixieland Flea Market, they have those people that go there every single day. Yeah. That's their mall.
Yeah,
right? Because that's what they can afford and that's what they can do. But then you get those people that go there to see what's there because they haven't been there in a while, but they got money and they start buying everything because they want to find those steals.
Yes.
So you get some very high class people, but then you get some very lowbrow people.
I feel like that's America. When I go to Dixieland, when I got friends from out of town, like friends from LA, I take them to the flea market in Michigan because to me that's the closest thing to America that I like. You got
everybody there.
Yep.
And that's what you get out of pro wrestling. There are some places where it's just bad and you get all those low end, low brow. But then, you just got to be able to work with that. And I mean, it gets a little shady. It gets a little shady sometimes.
What do you mean it gets shady?
I've had batteries thrown at me, but I'm a bad guy.
What size battery?
9 volts. I don't know where they get them. I don't know where you get them. We're at a wrestling show. Where'd you get a battery?
Probably out of the fucking fire alarm.
Right.
Yeah. Smoke alarm.
I've started a riot before
you started
because of her.
Wait, you twice. You started a riot twice.
You started what'd you do to start a riot?
I was trying to calm this drunk guy down at the bar.
You was trying to calm
a drunk guy. He was like way overserved, and he raised his fist to me while he was in the ring.
That's not good.
No, I was literally middle of the ring. With big fucking dudes, and I in the middle of it stopped what I was doing because I saw this dude go to hit her, and I wasn't having that.
Well, that's commendable. You shouldn't have people punching on your girl.
We all got into a little brawl.
Yeah,
Bar cleared. Mace was hit, but none of us.
So
they maced themselves.
You were working at the time?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm actually, for XI, I'm our secretary. So like
Okay.
when him and DBA are in the middle of the show and putting everything together, I'm the go-to person. I make sure everything's good.
Right.
Trying to calm things down, and
That's
just,
man.
And then I had to calm things down from the middle of the
Bro,
ring.
it's so rough having your girl out there because it's just like y'all are walking fucking liabilities. You know what I mean? Like, like it's like at the worst, women are walking liabilities because it's like that's my everything.
And then throw alcohol into the mix.
I know that's, and you got fighting too. So now you got people like all amped up and
I
shit
think
like
that's
that.
what it is too. We go back to that whole everybody thinks wrestling's fake at some point, right? But like. You don't think we can fight. You don't think we can do anything. But if you push us to that spot, we're going to.
And y'all are used to getting rough. Like I'm not used to getting hit in the head. You are. Yeah. Like so I don't like that shit.
Some of my friends hit each other with baseball bats covered in barbed wire. They hit each other with light tubes all day. And you think we're not gonna fight? Like
you know what all that shit came from? It was like this boomer fucking 80s boomer shit that's like the same guys that's gonna lecture you about fucking Thanksgiving or are the same dudes that's like, oh, you know that's fake. It's like, all right, I get it. I know it's fake, but it's still they're still fucking themselves up.
Right. At this point, like if you say fake about it, I'm like, I can't even talk to you anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like if that's your go-to argument about why you don't like pro wrestling,
yeah.
It's like you go to the movies, right? Like you watch movies, right? You know who the good guy and you know who the bad guy is. You know it's stunts. You know these people in real life aren't like Arnold Schwarzenegger is not the Terminator.
Yeah.
But you still pay to go see it. It's the same thing about pro wrestling.
You're preaching
Ross
to the
is
choir,
Johnny Delicious, right? Like I go there, I do my thing.
Johnny Delicious.
But like outside of here, Johnny Delicious
the second
is Ross.
I was literally just shitting on a fucking rapper for being his name was Blackalicious, and I was like, that sounds gay as fuck. But Johnny Delicious, if you were Johnalicious, I would have said that's a touch.
You gotta add a little in there.
Touch.
Yeah, you gotta add a little in there.
Yeah. Have you tasted yourself?
Only from her.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. No, only from her. There it is. That's it, man. That's it.
Where you're like,
no shame
where
in
you're
that.
like, pause.
Yeah. Like, oh, so that's what you're tasting of. Now I know.
Man, that shit happened to me before too, man. I ain't gonna bullshit you, man. I was like, oh fuck, and I kept Altoids next to the bed after that. So there.
Mouthwash everywhere.
I felt so bad. I was like, oh Jesus, wow.
Mouthwash everywhere.
All right, man. I want you to stop and think about the people you know that have jobs, that are wrestling with jobs, and I want you to tell me what the jobs are. You don't got to tell me who they are. I just want to know. I just want to know what people do.
Retail.
What type of retail?
Like cell phones. You know.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, stuff like that. Clothing retail. That type of stuff. Right. Working in the mall. But the biggest one, and I would say this is probably for most people.
Let me guess.
Go ahead.
Working in a warehouse.
That's actually I would say that's top 3.
Okay.
Top 3.
All right. What's the biggest?
Number 1 is going to be like restaurants, like server and cooks, because it's easier for you to get weekends off, right?
Yeah.
Because people want to make money on the weekends.
Right.
You don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because you want to travel on the weekends.
You're just here to wrestle.
Exactly. That's your goal. So you get that weekly supplemental, and then you got your weekends, and it's like, hey, if somebody wants to cover my shift, you're gonna make some more money because I'm not here. And that's what it is. Warehouses would be third, I would say for sure, 100%.
Okay.
I know some that are mailmen.
All right.
I mean, some like you got pretty respectable guys. You got car salesmen.
Yeah.
I know a guy that used to run a charity, like stuff like that. Like there's all different kinds of jobs that you can do.
Okay.
But in reality, I mean, like there's not many of us make money off of just doing this on the independent.
No, I mean it's especially now that like money ain't worth shit. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And how many people what would be a good show and what would be a bad show where you're like, eesh, we got to switch something up?
Bad? I mean, so I don't look at it as good show, bad show.
Whatever.
Right?
Whatever.
I always want to see at least 200 people at a show, right?
That's not bad,
It's
though.
not bad. Depending on the venue we're in, right? Especially coming from like the Riots. Now we run out in Clinton Township at Premier Event Center. I got a show in Wyandotte at Grizzly's Bar. You know, we run smaller venues.
So, all right. So the venue would be like, you said Premier Event Center. What is that? Is that
it's like a banquet hall.
Okay.
You know,
right,
little banquet hall.
And how big are the rings?
16 foot by 16 foot.
Okay.
Or some are 18 by 18.
All right.
We never do. I don't ever do a 20 by 20 because that's WWE style.
That's
a huge ass ring.
That's a big ring.
Right, and especially if you want to fit more people in there.
Right.
So a little bit smaller is the better way to go.
Okay.
small things like that. I'd say 200 people is a good night for all of us. Now, if you run like a school and you get the bleachers and all that kind of stuff, you run in an arena, and you can get about 500-600 people. That's a great night.
I used to in LA. I used to go to a wrestling. Like I would go to amateur wrestling, and they would run it out of an old movie theater. It was on La Brea, and I had a good time, man. Like it's just like it's fucking. There's something innocent about it that it's like there's a. I don't know. It's nostalgia. There's like nostalgia.
Yeah.
The fact that everybody's agreeing to make believe.
For sure.
There's something.
You all leave for a minute, and that's what you see.
Yeah, there's
right?
like this weird escapism, fun. Like we know it's fake. I know this is. And going back to what you're saying, like the wrestlers thinking like they're blurring the lines. Do you think like people are getting dumber and they don't understand like
online 100%. Yeah. You look at social media and stuff like that online. People are just dumber online than they are in person, always. But like when you're talking about that too, like think about. I just gave this speech to my crew last week.
Who's your crew? What's
XICW.
I know, but like who? Like what is that? You're giving
the whole roster, everybody that was on the show. Yeah, all the wrestlers, everybody that was on the show.
Okay,
everybody that puts the show together, the sound guy, all that from my secretary, my door people.
All right,
people. Like, a lot of people are struggling right now, right? I started off by going, hey, how many of y'all have $100 in your pocket right now? Not many people could raise their hand. Even the boys in the back, like even the wrestlers. How many of y'all think those fans out there have $100 in their pocket right now? Right? They spent that $100 to come see us live our dreams.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't have a plan to go into WWE and all that stuff to make the big time. I would love to. Don't get me wrong. Right. If it happens, it happens. But, like, when it comes down to it, this is my dream. I wanted to be a pro wrestling manager. I get to entertain people. Those people, hardworking people, come and spend $100 for their family. That could be their only $100 to have fun and to suspend that disbelief for 3 hours a night. And that's what I want my team to go out there and be like, give them the best damn show you can possibly give, right? But also at the same time, you don't want to go out there and you don't want to fuck it up. You don't want to make fans leave. You don't want to swear too much if it's a family-friendly show. Yeah. You don't want to break glass. You don't want to break the building, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You just got to go out there, and those fans spent that money to see you. Prove why they come see you, right? They can't do it, so now they come to see you do it. And I think that's really where it comes into play. You ask if we can make money. Pro wrestling's about making money, but in my opinion, it's not about making money. It's about living your dream to do something.
Right.
Because there's so many different routes that we can do it.
Well, I think here's the deal, man. Like, I think it's funny, right? Because smart people kind of like, they kind of like they tilt their nose at it. But to me, it's someone that's like yourself. You're proving that. Your job isn't your happiness. No one has fucking passion anymore for anything. They just go to work and then they fucking watch some shit and then they fucking lecture me about it or they're all stressed out. Like, this is a group of people that actually have imagination and they want to do something beyond just working a fucking shit job. And I like that. Like, I think that's what everybody should find. Like, everybody should find their pro wrestling.
It's not work if you have a passion.
Yeah, man.
Like,
everyone
if you have
needs
a passion for it.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. Like each and every one of us that go out there, we do. There are some people, don't get me wrong, that'll half-ass that shit.
Right.
Every once in a while, we all have a bad day. But once you start half-assing every single time, that becomes a problem for me. And that's where I'm like, all right, you got to go.
Let's say I was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
I'd probably do pretty good over it, like selling to the wrestlers.
Probably.
What's the main shit? Coke and painkillers, I'm guessing?
It depends on where you're at. Like in your death matches, like if you're doing death matches, 100%. And I'm not calling anybody out, not saying names to anybody. I've seen so much, weed's your biggest thing. Weed, everybody and their mother, right? Yeah. I just recently got back into mushrooms and stuff like that. So
you didn't wrestle on mushrooms. You don't wrestle on mushrooms, do you?
No. I'm not gonna be at my show tonight with a little bit of mushrooms in me doing the show. I'm not. It's
tell your girl stop telling on you.
Stop telling on me.
I didn't say anything.
She's snitching with her face.
But like weed and booze, and then like I said, you got some people in the deathmatch community, and I won't say names. But
right.
But the other thing too is like we don't do it Not everybody does it during. I'm not gonna say we all don't.
I'm just saying, man. You fucking like you just told me you get hit with a bat with shit. Like I imagine I would be on Vikes or some shit like that, and then in my brain I'm like, yo, dude, you can't even get these things no more. So is fentanyl coming in? Is that something that
not that I've seen? Right?
Have you seen it?
And I think the fear is.
Have you seen that in any other like wrestling things? Do you
no, painkillers used to be a huge thing, right?
Yeah.
So fentanyl, it never got to that point. Vicodins, oxys used to be real big, somas, stuff like that. But that's where we started losing all of our friends, right?
Yeah.
We started mixing that because in pro wrestling, and you may have heard this, a lot of people hear this, right? So your high is your high. You are so far up there.
Right.
Right? You don't take anything to get to that high. It's the come down that you need. Right? Because after a show, after a 3-4 hour show, you and your boys, you go out there, do your thing, you can't come down. Like your adrenaline is so high up there.
Yeah.
So everybody was using that as a come down, right? And we started losing friends. Right?
All right, so this is like, so people were doing the pills to deal with like
the body aches,
but it's like, okay, you're like, you got this adrenaline boost.
Yeah.
The endorphins are hitting, everyone's cheering for you.
Everybody.
And then
it's the highest of highs, man. It's the highest highs.
Then you're like at Applebee's afterwards, and you're kind of like starting to feel the aches.
100%.
And that's when
start
you
taking a couple
shit.
drinks, take a shot. And that's the other thing too, is because alcohol is so readily for us, right? And then you pop one of those, and it enhances the effects.
Yeah.
It doesn't make them worse; it enhances them.
Right.
And that's the part that sucks about that. But we are putting our bodies through it, and that brings me back to it ain't fucking fake, man.
No, man.
If you looked at our bodies, man, I'm 40 years old, and half the time I can't get up, and I'm only a manager. My knees are blown out.
What do you think about, like, you said you can't get up in the morning sometime, or like?
Nah, man, I have issues. Like, you can ask her. Like, sometimes it's like my knees don't want to work, my back doesn't want to work, but I still got to go to my everyday job. I got to go do that every day. I got.
What's your everyday job?
Retail. I work retail. I'm retail management. I can't.
Or
say.
like
I'm in a
give
mall.
me an idea.
I'm in a mall. I'm in a
right.
mall. Yeah, I'm in a mall retail. But yeah, I mean, now I got to take care of a kid. I got my wife I got to take care of.
That's
so
fantastic, though, man. You got a kid.
After this, like, I'm starting to realize, like, what I was doing to my body before, I probably can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why I started looking into, like I said, the psychedelics help a little bit.
Right.
I got a little bit of that going for me. Don't take them before work or anything, but like when I come home, helps me with edibles, help me with the sleeping.
Right.
Helps me get to relax my body. That's all I need.
So there's like a lot of. Tell me more about, like, not to get all sad and shit, but like I just want to know, like, so when did that start? When did that start setting in? Because I've got to talk to a bunch of wrestlers and shit, and like, you're right, man. I was a Mankind. What's his name?
Mick Foley.
That dude is awesome, right?
Yeah.
And I got to interview him, and bro was fucking like it.
Yep.
He looked like a old ass pit bull that they used to fight. Like he just came in that bitch like just beat the fuck up.
Yep. Yeah, it's for me, I started this at 21, 23, around that time, right?
Yeah.
I'm 40 now.
Okay.
So I've always had that issue with my body.
Yeah.
Like, when I got into pro wrestling, it's because I blew my knee out. I fell off a 20-foot ladder doing other stuff, not wrestling.
What were you doing on a 20-foot ladder?
I was back in college, and we were doing something, and I was decorating something.
What did you go to college for?
Psychology. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense, right? Yeah. So, like, now you know how to fucking troll people.
That's kind of where it's at. Like,
okay.
I used it all for what I do.
Right.
And I ended up falling off a 20-foot ladder, blew my knee out, completely separated everything, never broke anything.
Right.
Had that redone, and I lost my job, lost my business. And then after that,
what was your business? What do you mean?
I had a video rental store, when those were a thing.
Okay.
Like Blockbuster, but
so
mom and pop.
You're a bit of a business. You know how to, like, you're organized in your brain and stuff like that. You know how to do business.
I try to be.
Well, I don't know how to do that shit. So it's a thing.
I try to be. I'm not rich and successful, but I mean, in my mind, I'm successful at what I do.
I mean, what is rich and successful nowadays? You know what I mean?
I'm not living check to check.
Yeah. There you go. So. Like, tell me.
But I did all that, and then, like I said, it kicked in after that. Like, then I went to pro wrestling school. I got trained and started doing all this, and I was doing it for a long time. I smartened up myself to where I wasn't going to be doing this my whole life,
right?
And I wasn't going to go big time.
Yeah.
So I cut back, and now I only exclusively work for 4 companies.
All right, let me ask you. Let's. When you told Ron, like, hey, Ron, I decided the psychology shit is cool, but I'm gonna wrestle. What did he say to you?
Man,
He must have been like, you fucking asshole.
him and my mom both scared shitless.
No shit.
Yeah.
What were they afraid of?
Well, I had just blown my knee out, and I just cadaver ligaments in my body, because I was so young, they couldn't put a fake knee in. So they're like, we're gonna put other people's ligaments in you. So they put that in there. So my bills were astronomical.
Yeah.
Right? And
wait, hold up, man. They put a dead person.
I have dead people's ligaments in my
Are you fucking haunted?
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Ask her. She's the one that sees dead people.
Yo.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a whole nother story.
Yo, man. Yeah, I don't know if yo, all right. Yeah,
sorry. All right. We're getting
haunted.
the Iggy. All right, so I did all that, and they were so worried. Like, parents worrying about their kid for one, right? And then they saw how often I was gone. I was gone every other weekend, weekend, traveling up and down. Now my parents go to a show after I get fully trained, see what I do.
Right.
And my dumbass is like, oh, man, my parents are here. I'm going to show out for my parents at the show.
Right. Like, and look, Dad, this is something you can be proud of me.
Right. And then I end up getting my ass whooped at the show, having the good guys beat me up in the ring, slam me.
Wrestling is one of those things, like, the harder you try, the more they freak out.
Yeah, and then afterwards, like, my parents haven't been, my dad comes to shows all the time now, but my mom hasn't been to a show since. My mom is like, no, you're going to get hurt. My baby's going to get hurt. I'm like, Mom, I'm 40 years old. She's like, you're going to get hurt, and I don't want to see it.
That's kind of like boxing and all that shit, right? So it's like, man, don't break. Like, I would hate to have I don't want no one I love watching anything I do. Like, I just don't need their fucking, I don't need that in the, like, I'm sensitive. I could feel.
I look at it like this, man. If all my friends come to my shows, because the majority of my friends are in the business now or around the business, I'm like, I want you guys to see this. Because if you ever have a moment where you want to beat my ass, let somebody else do it. I don't want you to beat my ass because I don't want to lose you as a friend. So they can all watch the guys in the ring beat my ass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure there's been a point where she wants to smack the shit out of me.
I don't ever want to beat my friends up.
Well,
I just be like, ugh. It's more like
right?
It's never violence. It's
but
more just like
they come out support that, and that's good. But it's like, if you ever wanted to, like, ask these guys how it feels.
All right. So what was your first character?
It's always been Johnny Delicious.
So you never...
I have never changed. So...
Do you feel like you haven't given your... Like, when I think of my first thing, I'm like,
yeah,
that's pretty fucking stupid. You never been like...
I've adapted to the character, right? So I started
tell me how you started and where you're at
young,
now.
So it started off, Johnny Delicious was young, well-dressed, right? Like, full of himself all the time, going after whatever I can, always wanting to be the best.
Right.
So I always had to have, like, the champions with me.
Right.
And then it kind of evolved into, I just like to talk.
Right.
So I don't care who I'm with.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I'm going to make sure they look like they're the best, even though I know they're probably not the best.
Right.
You know?
You talking about, you as a manager, you like to talk.
Yeah, as a manager, you got to make sure those guys look good. Whoever.
Right. That's
so
your job.
as a manager, you're put in there as a guy that can talk because the other guys can't talk.
All right.
Right? So you get guys that just can't talk and can't tell you how great they are. So that's my job. So I do that. So it just evolved. Like, my looks evolved. I've gone from, like, 3-piece suits, like custom suits, all that kind of stuff, to now it's more of like a streetwear type of thing. It's more of my everyday clothing. But, like,
what's your personality?
What's my personality?
You don't seem like you're quiet.
No, definitely not. Like, I'm loud, obnoxious, center of attention. Smug. Thanks.
Damn.
Wherever we go, somebody usually knows me.
Yeah. Do you make a point to go to where people know you though? Is it like that? Is it like wherever you go, people know you? Right.
I'd be at Meijer and somebody's coming up and like, hey, aren't you Johnny Delicious? Or like, I know you. I know Ross. Like, friends of mine were out promoting the show I have for us wrestling. They were out promoting that, and they went to a shop. And they were like, yeah, I used to go to all these shows all the time. And I remember this guy, he used to wear a 3-piece suit. He'd manage the Scarboni brothers. What was his name? Johnny something.
Yeah.
And they're back here telling me this story. And I'm like, I don't even know who you're talking about. Right. Like, but it's just, my name's been out there.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's my success.
No, it sounds like...
But my personality, like I said, Johnny Delicious is me on
that thing in her belly is your success.
Yeah, that now it is.
That, all right.
But yeah, that's me,
already?
man.
All right, shit.
My bad.
Johnny, you talk a lot, bro.
Hey.
Man, put a string that motherfucker
there it
goes.
is.
All right, let me ask you, like, so, man, I there's so many more questions. Just give me.
Ask away.
I got like a minute or 2 minutes, basically.
Let's rapid fire.
Tell me what's your ritual before you start your...
My ritual before I start is wake up, shower, get all my gear ready because I never do it the night before, and then go to the show and kiss her, tell her I love her, and then go out there.
That's gangster, man. Tell me the worst wrestler storyline character that you saw firsthand, and then, in your opinion, the best. And you can jump into. Like,
oh man, the best is mine. I'm always the best.
Tell me the best. That's not. I already heard yours, man. Like,
worst.
Where you're like, damn, that's a good ass story. Like this motherfucker, he was born like from a pterodactyl and came and fucked somebody up.
Okay,
like,
I'll give you the best, and I was actually kind of part of it, right?
Of
so
course
the best
you were.
Is if you know anybody, this guy's name's Jimmy Jacobs, right?
Okay.
He's pretty well known in the independents and in pro wrestling. He ended up facing off against DBA because of a buildup that I gave him in the match that I had against him in the barbed wire. No, we built it, but it was a year and a half long.
What was it
and
though?
And he
like
fought the family. No,
okay,
he went against everybody
family?
in the family. Like
what was it? Why?
5-year-old kid, 15-year-old kid.
But like why?
Because he's the bad guy.
I know, but like
and
what
DBA
was
is
the
biggest guy? He's like,
but what made
baby.
him want to fight the family?
Because he didn't want to fight DBA. So
okay,
he fought
so
everybody
like,
around him.
He's like, I'll fight your mom, I'll fight your dad. That's pretty good.
And it went a year and a half, and it won awards for being the best feud.
And what was what was the most ridiculous fucking like character or something like that either one of y'all? I don't. I'm gonna ask you because
you can ask her.
Somehow he's gonna make it about himself.
No.
Like, well, actually, it was something I came up with.
Oh, ridiculous!
In a fever dream.
Probably Mark Ross. And I know
what's Mark Ross?
Mark Ross he doesn't wrestle anymore.
But like, what is his thing?
He had so many different gimmicks. Like at one point he was like Aqua Bra is what he called himself.
Aqua Bra?
Yeah, he
big afro, curly hair,
green and blue, and then came out like a mermaid, like bell bottoms.
Yeah.
Disappeared for a little bit, came back in a mechanic suit, and he would come out to.
Oh, you forgot in the middle. In the middle, he became a Sith Lord.
Oh yeah,
from Star Wars.
Yo, man.
Yeah. In the middle, he became.
Man, I wish we could do even like because now I'm wondering about like the fucking like how many guys in wrestling are like the annoying dude.
Bro,
like, oh man, here comes matches, fucking Sith Lord in the background and shit.
I've seen wrestling
like
matches where they use a remote control to pause, fast forward, rewind.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
Were they?
Yep. And they'll do a whole match in that. I've seen them where they get high and everything just starts going slow motion.
Do y'all get along? What are the percentage of people that get along in real life in wrestling? Is there like a guy like, oh man, Sith Lord Randy's here again. He's gonna be in the background like fucking ruining shit.
It's a good 50-50.
It's a good 50-50. Yeah. But I think everybody says that about me when I walk in. They're like, fuck, he's here.
What's the personality of like the man? I could just go on it. Like I want to do a part 2 with this wrestling shit, man. This is really I like it. The last I guess how many people do you know that made it from the like the bottom to the top?
That's a tough one. I met a lot of guys as they came back down, like Rhino. Guys like that were on the big show and then came back down and then went back up.
So you're getting a lot of the people wrestling with y'all, they'll be like, all right, they was in WWE.
Yep.
And now they're a little bit older, so now they're coming back down. There's still a draw. So then you guys
like
bring them in.
Rhino, he started with DBA and XICW in the early 2000s. Rhino, Christian Edge, all those guys. They made their way up.
Christian Edge, that's when you don't come.
Yeah. Yeah, those things. Edging. They brought those guys back down. They came back down after a while, and now they're back up on top, right?
Yeah.
So stuff like that. Independent guys like Trey Miguel. He's on TNA right now. Zach Wentz, those guys. Like I know those guys personally.
So that's cool, man.
So there's guys, but like a lot of it's kind of we just kind of stick to the middle. But it's really what you consider successful,
right?
And some of my friends like Tommy Vendetta. He's with Darren McCarty right now. Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion, is manager.
So tell me, and is Michigan like is it a real big spot for like wrestling, or is it like down south is a big spot for like when I think of wrestling I think of like I think of Canada and I think of like Georgia. I don't know why, but I just do.
No, Georgia's huge. So is Canada for wrestling right now.
Yeah.
But like Michigan's that in between independents, right? There's a lot of independents here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shitty independents. There's a lot of good independents. But it's not like if you were in, we'll say New York, Boston, New Jersey,
right.
Philadelphia. Those are like big. Texas has some big stuff going on right now.
And the people that watch it, is it like blue collar people?
A lot of it is, yeah.
Last thing, were you surprised that like Vince McMahon was allegedly asked to have a woman eat poop? Because I wasn't. That seems about right to me.
He made somebody give birth to a hand on TV.
Yeah, man.
And then necrophilia had somebody banging somebody in a casket.
Yeah.
He ripped some guy's dad's headstone out. No, I'm not surprised. Like, that's his mind.
Yeah, it's kind of his deal.
But also,
right?
look what it did. It made him one of the richest men in the world.
Hey, bro, I'm not condemning him for making this broad eat poop.
He just got caught.
She brought her ass around this fucking maniac.
Yeah.
Like, hey, lady, you see that guy?
Right.
If you hang out with him, you're gonna eat poop. Like
Right.
that's how it goes. This is the facts of life, man.
Hakuna
Matata.
Yeah, you did that to yourself at that point. You did that to yourself, and he just got caught at the wrong time. That's all.
Well, I appreciate you coming through.
I appreciate you having me.
Yo, this was fucking fun, dude.
I hope it was entertaining enough for you, man.
It was fantastic. Congrats on everything, both
Thank
of
you,
y'all.
man. I appreciate you.
Best of luck on everything.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
We go.
Okie doke.